And we're
My brain
live,
immediately,
I think.
my brain immediately
Awesome.
jumped to: do you get a dragonborn when a human fucks up like a full-size dragon?
That's not how it works, apparently. But yeah. No, actually, if a dragon has, if a dragon impregnates a human, like any humanoid female, it becomes a half dragon, not a dragonborn, actually.
Okay.
So those are two different
Oh,
things in D&D. Yeah.
I don't want to know
When
how a
a
dragon
man loves a
loves the
worm.
dragon.
And there's a lot of half dragons floating around in Faerun, apparently. Like,
Oh,
apparently,
If
well, yeah,
y'all
because
need
How are they different?
that hurts.
dragon human fanfic read, I know a guy.
I mean, dragons are. I mean, they
I think
like.
we're good
Shut
there,
up.
Steve.
I don't know.
Wait, who's writing the dragon fic? Llama?
No,
think-
we'll
no,
just
no,
find
no.
one and Llama will
Oh.
read it.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
I thought Steve would write it, and then Llama would read it.
I haven't written a fanfic in like 3
You
years.
never wrote Cuddy and Sweepy.
Oh, I know.
True. Like most of his fixations, he loses interest quickly.
I haven't
to
lost
answer your-
interest in you.
Oh, snap.
I mean, you did infer.
You guys could literally feel her blush through the monitor.
I did.
Ah.
The silence said it all.
I was waiting for her reaction, really.
Well, I was gonna
No,
counter that
silence
with
was your-
something, but
her
I
reaction.
told Steve and I wouldn't tell anyone what he said. So.
Oh yeah. I was not of sober mind, and I tried comparing her to the Fire Nation after she called me a fart bender, and it was not kind words, and I was hesitating as I
really?
said it.
No,
Oh, really?
yeah, it was not.
Shocking.
It was not.
Yes, compare her to the genocidal Fire Nation.
Oh my god, that's one of the words!
That's yeah. I believe he said that I was the genocide of his total happiness.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point.
I'm like, I just said that you fart a lot. And you implied that I just the complete destruction of your entire everything
I'd
that
like to be
brings you joy in life.
I'd like to be a fly in that house one evening, just one evening.
You probably would not.
It's
You
pretty
would
boring.
regret that.
And
Mhm.
Oh,
just
really?
farts a lot,
It's-
so.
Jesus.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Okay. I have to save Pez for the embarrassment. I'm gonna get this shit.
Hey,
Oh, I'm not
does this count
embarrassed.
as our lord dump? I mean, it's the wrong kind of dump, but
It's the wrong kind of lore too.
What do you mean? This is official P-Gang lore.
Going into the annals of the record books.
Yeah, the history books of PK. Okay, so I'm ready to go if you guys are.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah,
I'm ready.
there's
Huzzah.
to answer Dana's quick question, there is a difference between the two. Half dragons are literally like when a mate when a humanoid and a dragon mate. Dragonborn, they were created from the drops of I think the battle between
Jupiter.
Bahamut and Tiamat. No, the drops of blood that came crashing to Earth following the battle between Tiamat and Bahamut. So those sprouted the first Dragonborn according to Faerun legend, and Dragonborns can only give birth to other Dragonborns. So they're
Oh.
two
Do half
completely
dragons are they
different
like
things.
centaurs? No, they're not. Half dragons do
Like
look a lot like dragonborns. At least based on the images I'm seeing.
No idea.
I would imagine half
That's-
dragons to be more like centaurs than
Or
No, half
dragon
dragons are like-
shifters?
No, they're. I mean, they're humanoid dragons. They're usually extremely huge, like tall, like 7 foot tall, and their heads look more like dragons. Whereas dragonborns have a more, I don't know, humanoid touch to their demeanor, their face. So yeah, you can type half dragon. It's in the monster manual actually. There's a half dragon, dragonborn, and two separate
Yeah.
things. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So that being said, back to the game. All right. So we are on chapter 14, session 80. Um, year 752 of the Barovian calendar. You are in your seventh day in Barovia. 17th day, sorry, in Barovia. It's early evening, like around close to 6 p.m. ish. You guys are in the Valachian Valley, more precisely at Lake Baratok, within the decrepit and nearly destroyed Van Tower, where Van Richten is holed up. And yeah, you guys have just reached the tower and are in the presence of Van Richten himself. So, quick recap of yesterday's game. This is going to be a quick recap. So, as dawn's gentle light crept through the windows of the Blue Water Inn, the party found themselves greeted by a cryptic missive from Lady Wachter, a stark reminder of the political quagmire into which they had unwittingly been drawn. Despite the weight of the lady's words, the party's focus remained steadfast on their impending rendezvous with Van Richten at the dilapidated tower overlooking Lake Baratok. As they made ready to depart, their path was intercepted by Father Petrovich, beseeching their aid in locating the missing boy Milivosh. Sensing the urgency of their journey, Irina Kolyana volunteered to assist the priest in their stead, offering a glimmer of hope amidst the shadows of uncertainty. With hearts heavy with the weight of their mission, the party set forth upon the treacherous Svalich road once again, bracing themselves for the inevitable dangers that lay ahead. Yet, to their astonishment, the road proved strangely devoid of its usual threats. Wolves and spiders alike seemed to shrink from their presence, a curious anomaly that left the party both unnerved and intrigued. Arriving unscathed at Van Richten's tower, they were met with an eerie quietude, the absence of werewolves lending an air of eerie anticipation to the moment. With a sense of relief tempered by suspicion, they entered the tower, where Van Richten awaited, his demeanor tinged with quiet resolve. Inquiring about her affliction, Sparrow learned the harrowing truth. Her nightmares were the machinations of the vengeful crones of Bonegrinder, their twisted retaliation for past transgressions. Promising aid in the morning, Van Richten turned his attention to the enigmatic tale of Strahd von Zarevich, a narrative steeped in tragedy and betrayal, he promised, offering clues to the Dark Lord's formidable powers and vulnerabilities. As the party prepares to delve deeper into the lore of Barovia, they hope that through Strahd's history lay the key to their salvation, a potential beacon of hope amidst encroaching shadows that is always Barovia. Alrighty. Questions before we get started?
No,
Nope.
ready to
What
Okay.
party.
happens if a half elf has a child with a half orc?
Um,
I
guess
This
I
is
guess it's a half. I guess it would be a half orc. I don't know.
Could you
It's a
imagine
very
if your parents were half elf, half orc, and you were just considered human?
yeah. I don't know. When I said if he had questions, I was meaning about my recap or the actual campaign.
I
I
get it, I get
should
it, I
have.
get it.
I should have specified.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Is this playing? Let's see. It's already giving me grief. This damn thing. Oh, it is playing. You
Yeah,
guys should
Steve
hear
says that a
sound.
lot.
Wait, what do I do?
Give Paul
Cause
grief.
grief. Give me grief. Oh no, it's not that. I was just fooling around. Okay. I will have to think about that question, Steve.
You really don't.
Yeah,
You
you
really
don't. You don't.
Don't dedicate your brain cells to this.
It's a valid question. I mean, if I were to make a backstory on a half-orc character, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I have no answer for you, my friend. It's very, yeah. There's no book that delves into this crap. It's all left up to us, I think. Not true, not true. There was a third edition book called the Draconomicon, which was really good. It was way too detailed for its own good, but it had every piece of information you needed to know about dragons, including what happens if certain dragons mate with other races. It was really detailed. It's like, okay, wow, this is crazy. And this is where I learned that metallic dragons are just, promiscuous little bastards. Like they just go across the the realm and they just screw whatever moves, right? And they are
Damn.
hidden in
Oh.
they hide in human form, right? Because
Oh, they're like
they can
Zeus.
shape change. Yeah, they can shape change at will, metallic dragons, whereas chromatic dragons can't. So
Ooh.
metallic dragons just walk the earth and they just, they spread the seed, I guess, and they create all these half dragons everywhere. It's
I
weird.
think it'd be funny if two metallic dragons were like met and they were both human form or whatever, and then they had a full dragon baby because they both thought that they were the only dragon.
Ugh,
Oh
I hate
yes,
it when
right.
that
Okay.
happens. So awkward.
The poor woman that needs to give birth to a half dragon, man. It's got to be.
Oh,
It can't be good,
yeah.
man.
I mean, do they even survive the birth?
I know, right?
I mean,
Hopefully it's a. Oh yeah.
I think the only one. Imagine a halfling female that gets
Oh
birth to.
God. Oh
I
God.
know. The
Oh.
poor woman.
I,
The poor woman. Like if it's a half orc, they could probably take it, but geez, a freaking halfling? Oh my god.
Didn't they cover this in Vox Machina?
Did they? I don't
I
remember that.
I
I don't
feel
know. I
like
didn't watch Vox Machina.
I feel like you reach Scallion's parents and like one of them is like gigantic.
Oh, maybe.
I don't
I
remember.
don't. Me
Mm.
neither. I don't exactly remember. Interesting. I'll have to go back and look at it.
Maybe
It
I
was a
could
good.
be making
It
that
was
up.
okay. I
Probably.
was kind of
Could
hoping.
be.
I hope they make I hope they make a second season out of it. Is there a second season?
Me
There is a
too.
second
One?
season. I think we're waiting on a third season.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
waiting a third
Oh
one.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so now that you guys are inside the tower, I'll now move you guys to the map. Uh, Van Richten's tower. Where is it?
Everyone get your
There we
notebooks
go.
out. We got a lot of lore today. Take notes.
There will be a pop quiz.
No, there will not be any quiz. It's a weekend. I'm not gonna cause you no. So Van Ritten is so you guys should all see Van Ritten's tower map.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes. Yep.
You guys are on the final floor, the fourth floor, and so Van Ritten is right here. This is the elevator that you guys used to get into his quarters. There is a neat little fire that's currently burning and providing heat to the room. Um, that is modestly appointed. I mean, there is a desk where he is currently sitting, and there's this plated armor statue next to the desk. That's right here. You guys can see on the map. His bed is here, and that's it. And there's a couple of chairs, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else. Um, Feel free to put your characters wherever you want. I just placed them on the map real quick. But Rudolph basically just handed you all a glass of wine, and he's making himself comfortable. He's got his cane next to him, and he is ready to recount the history of Barovia. He asks you all if you are ready for a bit of history of the realm, and particularly also of Strahd von Zarevich. my God,
Aye,
Fox
aye,
is falling
Captain.
asleep already. All right, perfect. Tough crowd. All right. So he starts by saying so the Barovian calendar began officially with the founding of the nation of Barovia by the noble Zarevich family. Uh, the year, unfortunately, is lost to the annals of time. It hasn't really been documented as to when exactly this would have started. Um, but suffice to say that the Zarevich family was able to gather through the centuries under their leadership a large number of independent city states led by several traditional noble families, some of which you maybe have heard the names before. There was this Lisnia family, the Boritsi, and the Petrovna, just to name a few.
Oh.
Um,
Okay.
so and in fact, the Lisnia, um, when he mentions the name this Lisnia, you have Ezio, who kind of reacts, looks into his direction. He was kind of listening and standing, like staring in front of him. And when the name this Lisnia is mentioned, he turns towards Van Richten briefly. So uh, yeah, that's that. You'll notice that. So he continues. So he says, "I'll spare you the history of the religion of Barovia and all that, but and some of the early invasions that that Barovia had to suffer through in its early days. But if we crucial events, I would say that really would be relevant to you is to understand is would have started shortly around the year 300 of the Barovian calendar." Um, and so just remember, you guys are in, by comparison, to you guys on the year 752. So we're almost,
Ah.
400 years in the past. He says, after nearly a century of rivalry and quarrels between some of the noble families of Barovia, namely the Dislisnia, the Petrovna, and the Katsky families, there was this dangerous conflict that began over the control of Barovia's silver mines, which was known as the War of the Silver Knives. And the conflict began with the mysterious murder of Isabella Dislisnia, the matriarch of one of the noble families. And it resulted in like almost 2 years of open confrontation and murders and vows of revenge between all the families. And at that time, Count Barov Vanzerevich succeeded in pacifying the conflict after those 2 years of cloak and dagger politics. And this conclusion did not sit well with some of the family members, namely the Dislisnia family, who were a powerful banking family. They control most of the banks in Barovia at the time. And so they still sought justice for the murder of their matriarch, and they felt that when Barov stepped in and ended the conflict, it devoted them of their right to vengeance, right? So but Barrow felt that the conflict had left the country weakened and completely vulnerable to any potential exterior threat. So he wanted peace to return as quickly as possible, and he was the one who um, pushed for that peace. Okay, so he says now, just for context, Barrow von Zarevich is Strahd von Zarevich's father. So you remember that Barov was mentioned by Strahd himself, right? That was his
Mm-hmm.
father. So it's Strahd's father that basically back then, when Barovia was instaured, all the noble families were pretty much equal, right? They shared their own realms and they worked together. But ultimately, when the conflict initiated started, it's Barov, the von Zareviches, that ultimately took the initiative, and because they took initiative and reined in all the other family members, they kind of regained a bit more prestige and more political power than the other family members, the other families rather. And so this was their rise to power, basically. So, but the peace was very short-lived. Maybe 4 years after the War of the Silver Knives had ended, Burva was invaded by the Turks. And this is also something you guys heard in the past mentioned by Strahd. Um, just for comparisons, the Turks are out of game. Turks are the our own history's equivalent of the Persians. So basically, they similar culture, similar attire, similar religions, even, and so they're basically like this the equivalent of the Persian civilization, and they were basically invading every realm that was in their path, and Barovia was the next one. So year 320, the Turks invade. And even to this day, I mean, Barovia, most Barovians, when they hear about Turks, they spit out a curse, right? It has caused an enduring and long and bloody war. And they arose from the east and they launched the military campaign backed by a fanatical religion devoted to a singular deity. Their leader at the time was a man named Duran Khan. He was known as this unstoppable warlord, and the Turks quickly consumed Barovia. And unlike previous barbarian invasions that Barovia had faced, the Turks conquered and settled in the land. And so they started to spread their culture, their dogma, and their faith. So the Tsarevich family were initially pushed back, and they were still weakened, right, from and disorganized from the war of the Silver Knives, right? The families were, despite the few years of peace they had, they were still left unprepared for this. And so, unfortunately, most of the resistance that the Barovia tried to raise against the Turks met with humiliating defeat, and unfortunately, they were forced to flee west in the regions of Borca and Arvinia, which were controlled by the Dislisnia and Baritsi families at the time. And so bloody war fought, and the advance of the Turks was eventually halted, but they were not defeated. And the noble families of Borca and Orvinia profited greatly from the conflict, while the other noble families were actually the ones who kind of sacrificed the blood, their men. So to this day, like most Barovians will tell you that if your grandfathers filled their pockets from the war, they're likely from the Borca family, right? And if they were actually Barovian, they were from the Van Zarevich line, then I mean, most likely their lineage has died in the war. So, so Barovia's fate changed with the coming of age of young, the faith of the Barovian nation eventually changed when young Strahd von Zarevich, the youngest son of King Barov, no, sorry, the first son of King Barov, the second son being what's his name? Not Ezio, but Sergei. Sorry.
Talia?
So
Oh,
the young.
kidding.
No, no. Well, yeah, exactly, Talia. So the at that time, Strahd was 15. He was very, very, very young, and he was, for his age, a very impressive warrior, very intelligent warrior. Um, and following the early death of his father against the Turks, he was forced at a young age of 16 to claim control over his father's forces and defend his nation. And although he was he was brave and charismatic for his age and very intelligent, he was still very young and inexperienced. So it was a very difficult and arduous task he had in front of him. So after nearly 26 years of war, of nonstop war, the Tsarevich family was, by that point, nearly eliminated. King Barov had long been killed by that point, and only Strahd's mother was still alive. And most of the Strahd's family, extended family, had basically escaped death, but they were living in misery. And so a year later, in the year 347, which is basically 27 years of bloody conflict, the Turks were finally defeated by Strahd's forces. And Strahd reclaimed his ancestral lands and re-established the rulership of Tsarevich over Barovia, and he began rebuilding his kingdom. Now, it's unclear how there's very little information in any history books that explains how Strahd was able to change the course of the war. He just suddenly did. And I was purview to how that happened, because, and this is where I want to now delve a bit more into Strahd Lanzerevich himself. Um, Strahd was very meticulous in writing history, not only history of his lands, but his own memoirs. And I had the opportunity, I would say, about 15 years ago when I first came to Barovia, and I was intrigued by this dark lord that ruled over the land. I was lucky enough to travel to Castle Ravenloft, and I had learned that Strahd was actually undergoing a deep slumber. So true vampires, after every few years, they go into this deep slumber that lasts over a year. They do so to rejuvenate themselves. Um, and this allowed me, for the time and opportunity, to actually infiltrate his castle and actually infiltrate his quarters. And in his personal quarters, I was able to find his own memoirs. And in it was a treasure trove of information about his interpretation of some of the key events surrounding the history of Barovia, as well as his rise and fall from grace. Um, and I think this is the information that ultimately you need to understand, and you need to grasp if you hope to assist me in defeating Strahd. So before we delve into Strahd, is there any information or any questions regarding the history of Barovia that you might have? No?
No.
Mm-mm.
All right, so after the defeat of the Turks, um, Strahd assumed the title of his late father, King Barav. He didn't want to be perceived as a king, but he instead took the title of count. And he decided to reconstruct the castle that had served for as base for the Turks during the war. A mighty castle that had long been constructed, but due to the war had been severely damaged. And that castle became what we now know as Castle Ravenloft. And he named it Ravenloft after his mother, Ravnovia. And he hoped that Ravenloft was going to be the new seat of power for Barovia and the Van Zarovich line. And so the war, as I said, ended in 346, and by 349, the castle had been completely renovated, completely been restored. And unfortunately, although it seemed as if a new era of peace was going to be ushered in, this did not sit well for some of the noble families of Barovia, namely the Boritsi, who now, with the war over, were making much less money. So, in the year 350, so maybe a year after the castle was built, there was an attempted murder plot against Strahd Lanzerevich. And it was done at the hands of an infamous cult of assassins called the Balverzi. And luckily, Strahd was able to thwart the attempt and defeat the assassin. And the Balverzi are known for being very, if not only effective assassins, but being mystical assassins. They forge weapons that are made to kill a specific target, and those weapons are known to be extremely deadly and very particular in their construction and craft. So now, if you guys, well, Talia could definitely this definitely would resonate with Talia. She knows that, right, based on your vision that you saw, that knife that you saw. I'm not sure if you remember that one. Remember that knife that I showed you? That picture of a knife?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes.
I think you're muted, babe.
Okay. So now it makes sense. You believe now, based on what he's saying, that the knife that you saw in your vision was probably the knife that belonged to the assassin that tried to kill him, that tried to kill Strahd. So Strahd would have kept that knife, and then, in some sick, demented way, used it on his own brother years afterwards. So after Strahd basically had nearly been assassinated, he realized that his time might have been short, and that he had enemies that were probably conspiring against him, and he felt that he needed to make up for lost time or make the most of whatever time he had left. And so he decided to do two things. The first thing he did is he consolidated his forces, and he ensured that all the other noble families were to be, would have the fair share of their spoils of the war. He felt that if most of the noble families would be, content and rich, that they would be peaceful. They would not question his rule. And he was also he got particularly close to the Borka family for the simple reason that they were, again, still they were one of the richest families. They didn't have an army, they didn't have any military might, but they were among the richest. They were the richest Barovian noble line. Kind of like, I guess the comparison out of game we can make is, I forget what the name of the family is in Game of Thrones that has a lot of gold, but
Lannisters.
The Lannisters, thank you. So basically, the Borca were the equivalent of the Lannisters in Barovia back then, and they still are to this day, known as bankers. But they don't have a lot of military might. They tend to use money to manipulate and stoke dissent and conspire against other noble families and other neighboring states. So, but Strahd figured that since they had the money, they could be the ones to cause most issue. And actually, Strahd had a sentiment, and something he shared in his memoirs is he had a feeling that the Borkas were the ones responsible for the hiring of the Balverzi assassin. But he never could prove that. So he figured that at the same time he needed the money, and at the same time he was potentially keeping an enemy close to him, so he could keep an eye on them. And so that's what he did. All the family peace kind of prevailed for a good part of a year, and during that year, Strahd felt that he needed to have his family closer to him. He had spent a better part of his life fighting a war, fighting his father's war, his people's war, and he had not seen his mother for over 2 decades, and he had never met his younger brother Sergei. So he invited them both to Castle Ravenloft. Unfortunately, an ill fate had befallen his mother before she was able to arrive to Ravenloft, and so she died on the way. And her death is still shrouded in much mystery. We still don't know to this day how she died. Some say she died of grief. Some say she died just because of the hold the war had on her, and others speculate that she was even assassinated. So, but Sergei was able to arrive. He made the trek back to Ravenloft, and when the two met for the first time, Strahd described ambivalence. He was both happy to meet his younger brother, because he saw a lot of his youth in his younger brother, but he also envied his brother quite a bit. He was everything that he felt had lost because of the war: his youth, his joy, and his, one way of saying, his naivety, if you will. Right? Sergei knew nothing of the war. He was protected from it all his life. He grew up as a priest of the Morning Lord, and no, sorry, not the Morning, the Church of Ezra. Back then, it was the Church of Ezra, and so he felt like his innocence and his joyfulness was, due to the fact that he had never really struggled in his young life. And so he missed that because he felt that his innocence was shattered because of the war and he could never get it back. But at the same time, his young brother had so much admiration for him and respected him, and it kind of flattered Strahd. He felt that unlike some of the other noble families, he felt that they were, flattering him with an ulterior motive. Obviously, he felt that his brother's infatuation and respect for him was real. So he enjoyed that quite a bit. He felt that he finally had the respect that he felt he deserved. And so he kept his brother close, and the two grew very close throughout that year. And Sergei's goal was to become the high priest of the Church of Ezra in Barovia, and he was to be the head priest of Envelaki at the Church of Saint Andrews. So if you guys remember, Saint Andrews is actually was a priest, one of the high priests of the Church of Ezra, and she died defending Vallaki, sacrificing her life to protect it from evil forces. And so um, her bones were basically buried and underneath the church, and they serve as they say, as a form of protection against evil since then. But so basically, had Sergei survived or lived, it would have been probably his bones that would have been maybe underneath the Vallaki. It wouldn't have been Saint Andrews. So, but as you guys have know by now, Sergei had died, and his death is tragic in a sense because it's one of betrayal, it's one of jealousy, and I can't explain why, but it's directly linked to the curse that has befallen Barovia. So, as I said, initially Strahd and Sergei were very close, and Sergei had the plans. He was devoted to the church, so he lived a life of celibacy, and he was completely devoted to his faith. That all changed when suddenly, on one fateful day, he came to his brother, he came to Strahd, all excited, and he explained how he had met this wonderful woman and that he wanted Strahd to meet her. And when Strahd inquired about this woman, thinking that she was probably this woman of noble line, he was shocked to hear that she was just a mundane peasant from the village of Barovia. So initially, Strahd just, figured they would have been just a fling, something that would have passed. But then when Strahd ultimately succumbed to his brother's requests to have her invited to the castle, when he laid eyes on her, he was bewitched immediately. He fell in love, deeply in love with this woman, and he coveted her ever since. And this woman, as if you haven't known as of yet, was known as Tatiana Fedorovna, and she was apparently a magnificent woman. Perfect, pale white skin, red lips, auburn hair, perfect physique. She was a beautiful woman, but um, she was out of noble birth, and so Strahd, although he was infatuated with her, hid his infatuation and argued with Sergei that she was not of the proper breed in order to, um, to be with Sergei. And also, Strahd kind of reminded Sergei that he had made a vow to the church and to become a priest of Ezra, and that was to be his future, his destiny. But Sergei, at one point, uh, despite his better attempts to try to see reason and try to stay away from Tatiana, he just couldn't. He kept going back to her. The two were deeply in love, and then in the end, Sergei one day came to Strahd and said that he was giving away his holy symbol and that he would no longer be a warrior of the church. And so he basically rejected his duties and rejected his responsibilities. And that really, really infuriated Strahd because Strahd felt that he was wasting an opportunity that he had created for him, right? Strahd felt that he had sacrificed everything for his land, for his family, and now his younger brother who had everything all his life, right, was coddled and shielded all his life, was given this opportunity on a silver platter, and now he spat on it. And so that infuriated him to no end. But deeply, I think, and he says it himself, ultimately, most likely reason for his frustration was his jealousy for Sergei. And so he was already jealous of Sergei, although maybe he didn't recognize it at the time. With Tatiana in the picture, he definitely now understood that he was deeply jealous of him. And so that jealousy just boiled to insanity when one day Sergei came forward with Tatiana. They stayed one day at Castle Ravenloft, and this is where Sergei would have told his brother that he was going to marry Tatiana. And that, at that point, just drove Strahd to madness. He couldn't understand, first of all, why Sergei would doom his lineage this way, because it was basically it was not well seen for a noble to marry someone of lesser stock. At one point, Strahd, I remember reading in his memoir, he told Sergei, "Look, you could have her as a mistress, you could have her as a some sort of a prostitute, but you can't marry her. It's a stain on our family lineage." And that Sergei took huge offense to that, and that was probably the one time that there was a rift between them for some time. But again, this came from a place of jealousy rather than logic, and so Strahd even at one point wrote that he approached Tatiana herself at one point when his brother was away on some of his last religious duties before he left the church. He tried to take that opportunity to approach Tatiana and see if maybe he could somehow enthrall her in a way. And he remembers feeling completely insulted by her because she saw Strahd as, for example, an older person, someone she respected deeply and looked up to, because he was her lover's brother, and at the same time he was her king. But he saw that the only thing she saw in him was just this elder, powerful old man, not a beautiful man or someone that was deserved her affection. So that infuriated Strahd even more. And that forced him on this path of obsession with trying to find a way to beat his um his if you will, his humanity, right? He understood now that he was growing old and older day by day, and that he was going to die alone. He was going to die bitter and alone. And so he decided that he turned to magic, any magic, to try to find a way to reverse his every man's inevitable, absolute fate, right? Which is to grow old and die, for those that are lucky, anyways. And so, but he refused that fate. He felt that he had given too much and sacrificed too much for everyone, and he had received nothing in return. And so he wanted more than just kingship and being the ruler of Barovia. He wanted something deeper, something that his brother had, and it was Tatiana. And so he figured that maybe if he could somehow become younger again, or find some way to reverse his age, or he could maybe foolishly gain her affection, right? And so this led him down a path where he basically had all of his closest advisors seek buy every tome about any type of sorcery that imaginable. And that, from what I can tell, brought some of his men to a temple to the southwest of here called the Ember Temple. And there at the Ember Temple, um, some of his closest advisors have found a peculiar book, a book made of human flesh. It had no title, had no visible author, or it, and in fact, it had actually no visible writing inside. You would open the book and were these blank old pages. But Strahd felt something emanating from the book, so he kept coming back to it. But he tried to see if he had to use some form of ritual or magic to maybe pierce something that was protecting the book. He felt maybe that the book had some form of magical protection that prevented you from reading it. He tried everything, all he could, to try to decipher and read this book. And ultimately, he could not. And then, as the day of his brother and Tatiana's wedding approached, he felt more and more desperate. And it is in that moment of desperation that Strahd, at one point, went back to his book one last time. And then, the day before the wedding, the book this mysterious book he had in his office all this time, he was able to decipher it. And when he read it, I don't know how to explain this because this is Strahd's own words. It's unclear who came to him, but Strahd in his memoirs describes this being that appeared to him as nothing else but death itself. He remembers his whole room growing cold and a chill that not only pierced through his bones but his very soul, and he felt the creature's presence, as if it could slay him in an instant. And he felt, for the first time in his life, he felt total terror. Strahd was not known to fear much, not even death itself, but this time he felt that it wouldn't have just been a physical death. It would have been the worst type of death, the death that is eternal, the one where your soul is tortured for eternity. So he laid there in front of this being, thinking that this was the end. But then this creature, this being, which he described only as nothing else but death, offered him an opportunity, immortality and eternal youth. And at the same time, he promised him the ability to claim Tatiana for himself. So, with that promise, obviously he was intrigued. Though, of course, any such offering would have a price, and for this creature, there was no different. The price was, according to Death, was simple. He had to kill his younger brother. He had to kill Sergei, and he just couldn't just have him killed, or you know, he had to be killed in a very particular way, one that's very personal, almost ceremonial. And this is where the idea of having Sergei killed using the Balverzi dagger he had kept from his assailant all those years ago, and then the act of having to drink his brother's blood as he killed him, all that was instigated by this being. It was the ritual that it had established, and that being promised Strahd that if he followed this ritual to the letter, he would be granted what he desired. So that's what Strahd did. On the day of his brother's wedding, in the final moments before the ceremony, when Strahd and Sergei were alone, Strahd presented a wedding gift, so to speak, to Sergei. And when Sergei opened the box, he witnessed the dagger. And Sergei was very well educated, and he knew about the Balfours. He knew about the myth of the mystical assassin clan, and he recognized the dagger instantly. And he felt that this is a very macabre type of wedding gift, and he didn't quite understand. He looked at Strahd puzzled, and before he could react or say a word, Strahd reached for it and stabbed it in the heart. And as he began to fall to the floor and his life began slipping from his mortal coil, Strahd licked the dagger clean and then proceeded to drink from the gaping wound he had inflicted on his brother, drinking every last drop of blood that dripped from his brother's body. And as he was doing so, Strahd described some transformation in it. He felt becoming stronger with every drop he was drinking. He felt at the same time as if his senses were being honed. He described at one point that he could perceive what was happening 2 rooms beyond the room he was in. And he mentioned that technically that would have been impossible for even elves or even race creatures of that are fine of hearing, because basically you had these massive wooden doors that were separating each of these rooms, and there were guests talking. He could pinpoint exactly where Tatiana was, ready at the altar, waiting for her husband to be. And then he realized how strong he was. He was able to lift his brother with one hand so easily, with little effort. And his brother was wearing his not only his ceremonial clothes, but also a plate armor. And so that, to him, signaled that death was keeping its promise. But he also realized that there was a price that came with this gift of his. He noticed that his reflection in the mirror, there was this huge mirror in the room where he was, and began to fade. And to a point, as soon he could not see himself in the mirror anymore. The last thing he remembered when peering into the glass was his skin turning white pale, so pale. And then, after that, as Sergei drew his last breaths, he began feeling remorse, but at the same time also happiness, because now he knew nothing stood between him and Tatiana. And so a little chaos ensued afterwards. Guards came in because they heard a commotion, and Strahd was able to basically invent this elaborate scheme that an assassin, a Baralruzi assassin, had infiltrated his castle, had killed his brother, and that he was probably still in the castle now. And he pointed to the dagger as proof that there was an assassin in the castle. So that kind of convinced the people that entered the room. But he also mentioned that he was able to easily persuade the people that entered the room with his own by projecting his own essence and projecting his own dominance over them. Another indication that he had become undeath and began to experience the powers of vampirism. And so, people being none the wiser, they searched the castle, and through the confusion, and Strahd approached the distraught Tatiana, and he foolishly tried to force himself upon her. And as Tatiana felt revolted by Strahd's actions, not understanding why he would act in such a time when his own brother had been supposedly assassinated, Tatiana kind of realized that something was amiss, and she realized that Strahd was not only acting strangely, but looked different, felt different, and she was afraid of him, and this forced her to flee. And in her attempt to flee, unfortunately, she would have fallen to her doom.
Oh shit.
And so, and this is what's very interesting. When he noticed that Tatiana was about to fall, he felt that he had all the power he needed to save her. He was faster, stronger, and yet, as she began to fall, the one thing he remembered is her disappearing in a cloud of mist and being unable to reach to her. He tried his best to reach out and grab her, but all he did is grab the mist, and she fell to her doom. And it's from that point on that then the whole castle, and then eventually the whole realm, began shrouded in this mist. And he remembers, the last thing he remembered following this incident was basically the sound of death laughing at the situation. And now he knew that the price he had to pay wasn't just the death of his own brother, it was far greater than that. And so the death of Sergei and the death of Tatiana are intrinsically, I believe, based on Strahd's characterizations of these events, they're directly linked to the curse that had befallen Barovia. Because ever since the mist engulfed the land, it has been separated from the rest of the world. Strahd has control over the mist, it seems. According to his memoirs, he seems to boast as much. And if I look at events that I've witnessed myself, I mean, Barovia has on occasions opened itself to the rest of the world. Other times it has remained shut. So someone is controlling the mist. And I'm sure by now you understand the potency and the powers of the mist. Anybody who enters or ventures into it for any extended period of time dies. And so Strahd has the means of protecting his realm, but at the same time, he has the ability to send his forces outside of his own realm to invade others at whim whenever he desires. So it gives him both a powerful defensive and offensive tools against his enemies. And the one time where Strahd would technically shield Barovia, or parts of Barovia, from not only the rest of Barovia, but from all the other realms in Ravenloft, would be when one particular thing happens. And that's when Tatiana, he sensed or discovered that Tatiana was in Barovia. Now, let me explain, because, as I said, Tatiana seemed to have died on that fateful night, but it seems that ever since the mist has enshrouded Barovia, people that die in Barovia, their souls never actually depart to the afterlife. They're stuck in Barovia. They cannot pass through the mist. And so these souls, they wander aimlessly until one point a new life comes to the world, and that soul can re-inhabit that life. And so there's many accounts in the history of Barovia ever since that time. So over 400 years of history of people bearing similar likeness of their ancestors, and so on and so forth. And nothing is more illustrates this more than Tatiana herself. Over the years since her demise, many women have come to life in Barovia bearing a very, very striking resemblance to her. And currently now, one such woman actually lives. And she's named Irina Kolyana. You know her very well. Now, if you did not know this, she is Tatiana incarnate. She's the reincarnation of Tatiana, for lack of a better term. If you couldn't understand how that was possible, this is why. It's all because of the mist. It's because of Barovia's curse, the one Strahd is responsible for. And so even if Irina were to die, it's possible in maybe 100, 200, 300 years from now, her soul would linger and eventually find its way back into another person's mortal coil, and that person would become the next incarnation. The incarnation of that person could be male or female, but they would have some form of resemblance to Tatiana. They would have some of her features. More strikingly, her auburn hair, maybe her white skin, her eye colors, her mannerisms. And some even believe her memories. That's untested as of yet, but some say that these souls remember things through their different lifespans and sometimes dream about them. But I have not been able to test this theory at all. And so this is, I would say, the history of Barovia. I mean, the most key important parts. So what you need to understand is, if you are stuck in Barovia right now because of the mist, it is completely because it is due to Strahd's will. Strahd wills it. If he wanted to, he could receive the mist and let people leave. He chooses not to. So this is why I'm telling you now, if you think that Strahd is here to help you, he is not your ally. He has lied to you. He has manipulated you. if you are here, you are trapped. There's no other way of putting it. And the only way you were able to leave this place is if you somehow are able to recede the mist. Now, there's only a few ways, known ways of doing this. One is through Strahd's own will, which I doubt you'd be able to convince him to recede the mist. And the other is to, although that's the second theory is unproven, but I theorize that if we defeat Strahd, kill him proper, destroy him, then he would no longer have a hold over the mist. And I would hope that that would allow for the mist to recede entirely and free Barovia from over 500 years of tyranny at the hands of their dark undead lord. So, that being said, do you have any questions about Strahd's history now?
So you mentioned how Tatiana's soul basically reincarnates through a new person, right?
Yes.
Would it be possible that Sergei's soul also undergoes this reincarnation?
Oh shit.
That's a very interesting
Oh
question.
shit.
The problem with Sergei's soul is that it would have predated the apparition of the mist. Well, according to Strahd's account, which I still believe would be the most accurate accounts of events, right? There'd be first-hand accounts of the events, actually. The mist didn't begin appearing until Tatiana died. Tatiana's death was the catalysm of the curse that befell the land. So in theory, one would theorize that given that Sergei died before the curse befell Barovia, his soul would have traversed to the afterlife. So, no, I wouldn't think he would be able to reincarnate. And then again, his soul, I mean, I've never heard accounts, and I've researched accounts of this. There's no accounts I know of having someone bearing Sergei's likeness. His purple eyes, dark black hair, his white pale skin, his charismatic demeanor. He looks at you, Talia, as he's saying this.
Yeah, I'm looking right at
mad.
Talia, like, I'm sorry. What?
He's looking a little. You notice a little bit of shock in Van Richten's demeanor. He's like, he says, "Wait a minute, are you saying you could be a reincarnation of Sergei?"
That's what I think, yes.
Wait,
I,
didn't Strahd do things to dogs?
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, no, we went over this last session about how
Sure.
confused we were.
that's how fucked up I am, eh? Yeah. How twisted am I? Yeah. So he says, well, it would mean that for 500 years, it would mean that for 500 full years, Sergei's soul has basically aired and within Barovia. And I would ask, that's quite a long time. It would be it would be an increasingly a very long time compared to all the other events of a reincarnation I've heard of or read about. I
Well,
would wonder why. I would
I
wonder
am
why it took
I
so
am an
long.
elf.
Wait,
I do
how
live
old
for
are
a
you,
long time.
Talia?
Plus, you weren't born here,
You're not.
right?
And
You're not
to
500,
my
are you?
knowledge, I'm not from Barovia.
Oh fuck. Wait. Oh
Well, then
god.
that definitely then that definitely doesn't make sense. Then
I'm
you're
so
probably just a
confused.
coincidence. You
But
maybe look like him, but it's probably just a coincidence then.
But I'm not
I don't
sure
think
that it is just a coincidence. I
I don't think
Well,
there are
was
coincidences
I
here.
was shown a vision by a young Vistana. In that vision, I witnessed what Strahd did to Sergei, but it was like I was in Sergei's body watching it happen.
Did you say that the mist happened after Sergei died or before?
well, according to Strahd, the mist began after Tatiana died, after she
Which
fell
was
to her doom.
Is it
after.
possible that instead
After,
Sergei's
yes.
death was the catalyst, not Tatiana's, as Strahd seems to believe?
It's possible, but there would be no way for me to prove that. There's no account. The only accounts of that are, like I said, in Strahd's memoirs. Perhaps Strahd knows more, and he has not written about it, but it would be uncharacteristic of him not to write about it. Most of his most of his memories are put to the pen, and he does so because he's been living for so long, and he does not want to forget even the most intricate, minute detail. But it's strange. Strahd mentions that he felt a connection, like he almost had a sense. So Strahd describes in his book his powers, which is pretty much what I wanted to come to now, given that now you know his history. I mean, obviously you know Strahd is a vampire, and I'm sure by now you understand what that entails. You know about the vampire, the strengths and powers that come with vampirism. But Strahd is more than just a vampire. He's a dark lord of this realm. And that's just a title for the sake of being a title. It means that Strahd genuinely has enormous power over this realm. As I've mentioned, he has power over the mist itself. He decides when the mist appears, when it subsides, how thick it is, how high it is. He's the one who decides that. He controls it. But Strahd also has other powers that are unknown to most, but are very well detailed in his own accounts in his memoirs. For example, Strahd knows where every living soul that is Barovian is within his realm. If you are born in Barovia, Strahd knows where you are. He can't necessarily see you, but he can feel your presence. And this is why Strahd knew quite early on, whenever a new apparition, a new reincarnation of Tatiana would exist. The problem is, most of these women, he would only sense these women based off what he remembers of Tatiana. This means it's when she was a a mature young woman. So when these women were children, and when they were younger, he wasn't able necessarily to feel them. But when they came of age, then he would know. Their presence would become known to him. And so Strahd, I think, again, if Sergei was reincarnated, he would have known of his presence, of a reincarnation of his brother. And there's no mention in his memoirs at all of that happening. Although there are several instances where he does mention reincarnations of Tatiana. So that's again a reason why I doubt you are actually a reincarnation of his late brother, because he would have written about it. I'm almost certain of that. It would have been really strange had he not written about it, as he did about every instance of Irina.
But what if the reincarnation happened outside of Barovia? Outside of the mist?
Perhaps his soul was able to leave Barovia before
The mist happened, yes.
fully appeared.
Well, then no, it would have traveled to the afterlife, as most souls usually do. The whole reincarnation elements to the souls are typical to Barovia because of the mist, right?
But
The mist was
Sergei's
just
death was ritualistic. Could that possibly have something to do with it?
like revenge. Thirst for revenge or something.
Thirst for revenge. You mean by who? By the soul? You mean Sergei's soul?
Mm-hmm.
You're insinuating that Sergei's hatred and desire for revenge would have kept him from passing through the afterlife and somehow remaining in Barovia? Even though the mist was not there to prevent him from leaving?
No, not remain in Barovia. In a different world.
It's quite a theory. Well, I mean, um, I'll be honest with you. This is a very intriguing finding, um, and I have no explanation for it. So at this point, I don't know how to explain it, if it is exactly what's happened. So your theory is as good as mine. But if what you say is true, then it basically contradicts the theory that I had established all these years about the mist and how souls interact with the mist. This would be an anomaly. And I don't like anomalies. They don't make sense. In the scientific world, they do not make sense. And I cannot account for them, so I can't explain them. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer to your question. What you're suggesting could be true, but then I couldn't explain it.
You also mentioned that Strahd knows where every Barovian-born person is in
Yes.
Barovia, right?
Yes.
Do you guys remember after we left the death house, there was a
Mm-hmm.
carriage waiting for us when we got out?
Yeah.
A carriage ready to take us to Ravenloft.
It was because of
Yeah.
you, I think.
So I'm the problem.
Mm-hmm. We need to leave you behind in Valaki. I'm
I
kidding.
want to.
Well, that's possibly true, and you are right in saying that. You know, that could have been the reason why Strahd knew of your arrival in his realm. I would also remind you that um, Strahd is a very powerful wizard. Over the years, his centuries of undeath, he has assimilated an enormous amount of arcane knowledge. I would dare say that he's much more vested now in arcane arts than he is in military and strategic knowledge. So he's a familiar warrior, no doubt about it, and that is only heightened by his very nature. Being a vampire, he's far more agile, and he's much more strong. He's stronger than any normal humanoid. But the most, I would say, his magical aptitudes are really what make him a truly horrific and dangerous foe to deal with. And it's not just because of his offensive abilities. It's also because his magical powers enhance his already supernatural reach and control he has over the realm. For example, more and if to my point, let me just like for example speak of one tactic he used. He wrote about quite much in his memoirs. He would scry on people of interest all the time, and oftentimes what he would do is he would attract these people to Castle Ravenloft under the guise of friendship and the guise of um, of cooperation, and he would then order his servants to take a small trinket, a piece of clothing, even a gold coin that would be in their belt pouch, or a strand of hair, or something of the kind, something that belonged to a person that you had interest in. And he would then use this particular trinket as a way to focus his scrying ability on them. And through his scrying magics, he was able to basically spy on these people, regardless of where they were in the realm. So he not only sensed where they were, and if they were present in his realm, he could see and hear what they were doing. So, I mean, that could have been a reason why Strahd knew where you were. I mean, if you have at any time met the Count in person, spent any amount of time, especially if you had the unfortunate um, the unfortunate situation where you were in Ravenloft, well, odds are he would have used this tactic against you.
But we hadn't met him yet by that time.
I see. Well, then it's possible that what you said is true, that he knew of your presence, but that would imply that you're Barovian, which again, I can't explain. Unfortunately. I am sorry.
My only working theory is that I am a reincarnation of Sergei. The only thing that seems to make sense to me.
Well, based on what I know about the curse, it seems unlikely, but again, it's possible. Fortunately, the only person who would know more about this would be Strahd. Now, Strahd's magical abilities I can speak about a bit, but I think what's more important are the things that are less known about Strahd, things that are unique, things that you would only know through reading his memoir, or if you were very close to him. So, as you all know, he is a vampire. He has all the powers a vampire has. He has all the needs a vampire needs. He needs blood to sustain himself, for example. Um, that being said, unlike most vampires, blood has a very unique significance for him. Blood doesn't only provide him with nourishment. Strahd is able to basically, for lack of a better term, how did he explain it? He can feel and know people's memories through blood. So whenever Strahd bites you, he not only sucks your very essence, he sucks your soul, he sucks your memories. He literally sucks a part of you. So this has allowed him to peer into people's past, know things that he wouldn't be able to know. Some of the people's darkest, most closely guarded secrets. He could gain from someone just by one bite. And that's unique. No other vampire I know of has that ability. And he speaks about this vividly in his memoirs. And you can see how terrifying that can be through his ability to charm humanoids, being able to drain their memories and secrets, and then use magic to basically erase all memory of that incident. Strahd can manipulate anyone very easily. And I believe he does because he's done it in the past. He's described as such. I'm sure he would do that to anyone he has any slight interest in.
So that's probably
So-
what happened to me.
How is Strahd
What
not
do you-
able to see you?
Because I'm not Barovian.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't born in Barovia. Remember, Strahd has this famous line. I'm sure you heard it from himself, right? He says, "I am the land." Well, that
Mm-hmm.
encapsulates his power and also the limitations of his power. So every power I've mentioned to you is limited by this particular aspect. It has to be tied to Barovia. In other words, Strahd, I'm not sure, would be able to basically get information, knowledge from a person's blood if they're not Barovian. I don't think he would be able to basically know of someone's presence in their realm if they're not Barovian. These powers are limited by the physical and geographic limitations of his realm, the realm he had established at the time the curse befell his realm. So, be mindful of that. Ideally, to destroy Strahd, it would be to fight him outside of Barovia, which is highly unlikely, but would be ideal. I don't think we'll ever get that opportunity. He has never done so in over 500 years. But if, for whatever reason, we had a way of confronting him outside of Barovia, we would be at we would have a significant advantage. At the very least, we'd be able to level the playing field, so to speak. And there's another thing he mentioned in his memoirs that is also very interesting is his power of the land is not just about the mist. As I mentioned, he knows about the presence of Barovians, but he also knows about the presence of other creatures. For example, he has a very acute connection to wolves and bats. He can summon them to his aid, but he also knows where every wolf is. He can see through the eyes of any wolf in his realm. He can hear,
Oh shit.
sense everything through the wolves in his realm, the bats as well. And so there's even instances in where he mentions where he actually transforms into a wolf himself, and that he runs with the packs of the wolves of his realm, hunting prey for sport. And he took great pleasure in doing that. But conversely, he does mention at one point where any wolf that dies in his realm, he knows and feels. So
He knows
he does want.
Greg.
Greg was already
Just
dead.
chance.
He knows Greg.
He
Now
felt
what is it?
Greg when
I shed a
Greg.
tear.
There was a
The
pack
one
of
comment.
wolves because
Turns out he's been tracking us by Greg's paw.
Does that mean Greg
Oh my God.
reincarnates? Does that mean Greg reincarnates?
Oh my god. Oh.
As far as I know, only humanoids, sentient and creature of reason, have their soul imprisoned in Barovia.
This wolf had all those things, but it was not human.
But then it didn't have all the. Christ.
Are we sure Greg had a soul?
Probably not.
Oh, that explains why the wolves didn't attack us on the road. Maybe.
But wouldn't
I
Strahd
don't
want to
know if
keep
it.
us from coming here? If he knew what we were doing?
I'm
Why
sure
would he
he
stop
already knew.
them?
Just like
Is
how
it
he knew we
only
were
wolves and bats that Strahd has
Vistani.
control over?
Wait. So Van Ritten gets up from his chair when he says this, cane in hand. He says, "Could you say that again? What did you just say?"
Is he talking
Which
to me?
No,
Or
talking
me.
to Sparrow. He's looking at Sparrow. He looks concerned.
He knew we were in the Vistani camp and went to us. The first time we met the
No,
what was the old lady's name?
No. You mentioned that you saw wolves.
Yes, they
What did
were
you say the
eating
wolves?
children's corpses on the road.
Yeah, about 2 hours from here.
And what did the wolves do? Did you see them? Did they see you?
They saw
They
me
they
and
were
they
kind of
dispersed.
spooked almost.
Yes,
Like they
they were afraid. It wasn't just
and
them.
they're
There were some
giant
spiders
spiders
too
too.
that
Yeah.
exhibited
They
the same behavior.
yes.
It was
That
like they were scared of someone, but not us per se, but something else was scaring them.
perhaps.
Okay, so when you say that, immediately Van Richten panics and he says, "Damn it. Now listen to me very carefully. You need to help me burn these books, that chart, all in the fire now."
Okay, Osthor.
I perk up. I'm
It's
like,
your time to shine.
have you removed the magic barrier thing?
No, let's just throw them in the fire then.
Yeah.
Don't
There's
remove the
a
barrier
fire.
because we'll be in danger.
Do not remove that barrier.
No barrier's been removed,
Well,
but
sorry,
Van Ritten's
Osthor.
I
Van
meant the
Ritten's
anti-magic barrier, I guess.
No, that anti-magic field is still active. The tower generates that. No, it's not removed.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So Vanderking is panicking right now. He is grabbing whatever he can, piece of paper he can muster. He's got scrolls on his
I'm
desk. He's
filling
got
my
books.
big strong arms with everything I can to throw in the fire.
Okay.
I assist.
I will also
Yep.
help in
Good.
burning everything.
Ooh, do I have a
Okay.
I have a torch and tinder box. Can I help with that?
Don't create another fire. You'll burn us all. So
I'm asking
Rudolph,
the DM.
what is the matter? You look panicked. Why are we burning these things?
So I'm gonna have. I just want to check something real quick. Where
I
is this
guess
stuff?
those are servants of Strahd.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Van Richten? Oh, there he is. There you are, buddy. Ooh, I'm taking out a sheet. This is awesome. Van Richten himself is in front of me. Okay. You don't get to see this very often. Okay. Yeah. What's his passive? Oh yeah. Okay, he's got. Fuck. Not bad at all. Okay. And you guys have. Okay. So basically,
We're in
anybody
danger.
that has. So that's going to be Talia. And yeah, no, that's store. So it's just Talia and oh no, but I forgot. Yeah, let's not forget our little furry friend. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, so basically Talia, um, uh, Van Richten, and Rufus. They all hear sounds of wings flapping, heading towards,
Oh,
getting
great.
loud and
Oh, fuck.
louder,
Oh boy.
coming towards you. Something is flying towards you all. Um,
Oh, shit.
and I'm hoping Sirenscape's gonna cooperate with me. Let's give it a shot. You hear,
It's
yeah, this. It's gonna work.
I hear the flapping.
You hear the flapping?
Oh god, that's some heavy flapping.
my passive wasn't high enough.
No, your passive perception's not high enough. You have a really high passive insight. All right. And you can just hear the. I don't have voice mode, unfortunately. I'll have to deal with that. But you hear the creature, the creature outside saying, "Van Richten, our master has sent us for you."
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Do we all hear this then? When
Yes, you guys all hear this. Yes.
I speed up burning things.
All right. So what we're gonna do is the GM layer, token. Oh, what the fuck? What's going on here? That's funny. It's not what I wanted to. Let's move it. Token layer? It was still in the token layer. That's funny. Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
I see him
roleplay. We're
now.
so.
Hello,
Yes.
friend out there.
All this time, this creature was actually in the token layer. You guys could have seen it. Yes. Okay, I'm just gonna copy it real quick because there's more than one.
Oh.
Oh, we're in trouble.
No, copy.
Oh boy.
All right. What can you guys see? Actually, you guys can all see. Oh, you guys can see through the windows. Yeah, okay. So you can see three.
Mhm.
I
These
see three of them.
These three large, monstrous, winged creatures that are now surrounding the tower. one of the other creatures, so the creature that spoke was the one that was here. Then you guys hear the creature from here adding and saying, to Lord Zarevich's allies. The Dark Lord thanks you for luring, for finding Van Richten. But he hopes that now you will stand down and allow us to capture him.
Oh, fuck.
Any resistance will be seen by our Lord as treachery and will be responded, will be dealt with harshly. So, you guys have to decide now, for reals, where you stand with Strahd.
I look around.
So,
Uh,
so now what you guys are going to do is, Escape seems to be cooperating, although I have no idea what I'm clicking on and what's playing right now.
So
It's all good.
we either fight Rudolph or fight the 3 creatures.
well,
Huh.
by fighting the 3 creatures, we'd also effectively be fighting Strahd. 'Cause
Correct.
That would
Well, we
be,
Yeah.
That'd be saying that we unite against him, so then he's going to be our enemy.
Well, are we not trying to kill Strahd anyway?
We're-
Isn't that why
We're
we're
gonna
here?
get there eventually.
But we don't want him to know that.
Well, I'm sure he already knows. He's just playing with us now.
Alright, so
Alright,
How
are we
you guys
rolling
doing?
for initiative?
you guys are rolling for
Just
initiative,
calm
yes.
down,
I've put the
Steven.
track.
I'm so excited. I'm hyped.
What are you excited
Which-
about?
I may have not clicked my toe.
Wow.
What the fuck? Okay, why is there so many?
I can't believe I'm so hyped and I rolled freaking one.
You now what? On initiative roll.
Before I roll, I'm just gonna go close to Rudolph and be like,
So, I know that we just met, but I'm siding with you. Just so you know.
Oh, that's reassuring. One of you is fighting with me. The sick bird. I got him. I got the sick bird on my side. Awesome.
I'm with Van Richten.
Well, you got Ezio. Ezio's gonna be side with Van Richten, is obviously that's clear. Also,
Mhm.
I mean,
Ready to be
Ooh.
wrong.
Do you really have to think about it, Sakura?
no, I just
God, it
Well,
rolled
I
a
didn't
4
want him.
and it still beat
I don't want
me.
him to find out this way. Ugh, I just got this cool axe. I
Exactly.
thought I
You're
had a
gonna
good
use it
day.
on Strahd anyway, or the wolves
No.
and stuff.
I don't think it would necessarily work on Strahd. I was having a good day, and now there's all this
mean-
drama.
I was having a good
Ugh.
day now.
If he has any connection to any of the lycanthrope, I'm sure he'll at least get hurt.
Oh, it'll
Maybe.
give him a
Van Richten's
fucking
in the
paper
initiative
cut.
order. Holy shit.
Paper cut's hurt. You didn't know that? Here, grabs one of the
I'm
papers.
nerding out.
I'm gonna
nerding
cut
out.
you.
Oh my god.
I would like to see you try, Bird. And then I laugh.
we're gonna get Van Richten killed today, aren't we?
No, we're not.
I would not be
Probably.
Besides, he's supposed to be, he's gonna help me kill the Hague or get rid of this affliction.
Well, but,
Well, if he survives.
He's going to survive. You're gonna survive, right, Rudolph?
we'll see. What's your dex? What's number 4's dex bonus?
I
Ooh,
thought
Dex
4 was back in Velocity.
+3. No, we abandoned that idea.
Oh, okay. Right.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna be right here. Okay. Oh, what the fuck happened to Talia? 5 initiative?
That one.
When it
Darn it!
counts.
I did not want to be first.
Why did you pick a monk?
You never want to
Dana.
be first.
I never
You're the
want to
only
be
person I
first,
know.
correct?
You're, Dana, you're the only person I know that plays D&D that does not want to go first in the initiative order.
Not as a monk. And a bird. As a ninja, yes, for sure.
I want to go first, regardless of what I am. Okay, sorry, apologies. You might have some rock, some heavy metal strings here. I'm sorry. I hope there isn't. I forgot to take that out.
It's quite loud.
It will not.
Oh well.
It was. It won't be that loud. It's done. You're never gonna hear that string
Apologies.
again. Okay. I'm sorry. Alright. So we start the initiative count with Sparrow, unfortunately. Much to her chagrin, she goes first. So
Unfortunately.
if you want Sparrow, you can swap. I can have my rock at 24. You can have a nice cozy 10 if you want. It's up
Nope.
to you.
Nope, nope. Nope.
Okay, I'm just trying to help you out here.
Hey Rudolph, how sturdy are the windows?
They're made of glass, not very sturdy. Old
But
glass.
they can't keep these creatures out?
No, unfortunately
They're
no.
not.
The one weakness this tower has are flying creatures.
All right.
Please roll for
This is
Ezio.
great. Not really. I'm just gonna.
Get Ezio on the initiative.
Oh yeah. Get,
Oh, yeah, SCO needs to be on
yeah, let's see if he actually
Initiative.
beats my initiative.
I didn't think you would. I just.
Please. Please beat my initiative.
What do you want me to do?
Roll for
Ezio.
Ezio needs to be on the initiative.
Oh, shoot, I forgot about Ezio.
Sorry, Ezio.
Paul, I'll play him if you want.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, you already have him. Okay, yeah, could you?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay. Thank you, Steve, for your flexibility. You're awesome. Yeah, so feel free to roll his initiative whenever, and...
Okay, let's see. I pulled up his sheets. Click his token.
Chances of him beating your initiative, though, Dana, is slim to none. And...
Oh gosh, darn it.
You had some shit initiative.
Okay,
It feels
okay,
like me
okay.
right now. It feels
I
like
rolled
me
a
like me right
10
now. I can't
initiative
believe-
across 3 characters.
Nice. It feels like me right now. He's like, I can't believe I'm fighting alongside Rudolph and Richter. This is freaking awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna
Alright.
position myself there. And then I'm gonna ready an attack. As soon as this one gets in, then I'll
Okay.
unleash my attack.
One thing you notice though is that these windows are small. Like they are not big enough for these creatures to go in.
Oh.
These creatures cannot enter. They cannot enter the.
Oh, never mind
Yeah,
then. I recant my
Well-
decision.
Okay. Okay. So there's 2 types of windows. There's these small windows here. You see how small they are?
Mm-hmm.
These are really small
Yeah.
windows. Okay. They have curtains. You can see that there's curtains here, and it's no big. I mean, curtains don't do much. And there's slightly bigger windows that are here on each of the 4 major
Oh.
ends of the tower, right?
And they
So
can go through
these,
those?
they could squeeze through these, although it will take. It'll be difficult. Yeah, they could squeeze, but they'll have to probably do a check. These they can't though, but they can maybe attack through them, but they can't squeeze. Okay.
Oh, well then, I'm gonna attack through them.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely do that. Just know that they have cover because you can't. Most of their body is concealed, right? So they will have higher AC.
Right. Okay. Attack I
What
shall.
weapon you're using?
Oh, I have one more question for Rudo.
Okay.
Do you have any
Yes.
defensive, I don't know, defensive things in here? Or something that could possibly help us?
Well, the tower itself is a good defense. If things go wrong, we can always retreat to the lower levels, and probably barricade and force them to funnel through the main door, the main entry, the main entrance.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's go.
Okay.
And then-
you're gonna.
And
have to
then I'll
order
ready
the
my
guys
action.
to- Okay, ready your what's your action that you're ready?
To attack once they. Oh wait, they're gonna go through first before the rest of the party goes down. Decisions, man.
Decisions.
Decisions.
Do you guys all agree to go down? It's smarter to funnel them through the door. Sorry, my
Voice mod.
I mean, they could just squeeze through those 4 windows up here too.
It's gonna take a while to get. It's gonna take everyone a couple of trips to get down. I think it can only fit 4 people.
Oh yeah, that's true. And then there would be people would be left alone, which
Yes.
I forgot I
Unless
flew
some of
up
you-
here.
Unless some of you jump down 4 floors. Like a
mm,
super
We've done it
hero.
before.
Hey,
Like a
don't you
superhero.
have a flight spell now, Astor?
I could fly us, but we
No,
could
it's
just...
you and me that'll fly, and the rest of them will be on the lift.
No, just cast it on somebody like Sakura.
huh? Why
Somebody who
me?
you can carry people as well,
Oh,
and you would
yeah.
also use it in battle. So
That's true. You wouldn't be stuck on the ground.
Sure, but okay.
All right. So what do you want to do, Sparrow?
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay. So if you have to. You want to open this? This is just a lift. It's like a platform that goes down or up. It's not a door.
oh,
So it's like a
and that fits 4
it's an
people.
elevator. Yeah, you squeeze. Yeah, you can. And according to the book, you guys can. 4 people can squeeze on that platform. It's tight, but 4 medium-sized humanoids can fit on that square somehow.
Okay, well then, I'll just
Me-
ready my attack and aid.
To ready. What's the condition? for ready?
If once they go through any windows close to me.
Okay, I see. Okay, so if they go through a window and get close to you, you attack. Okay, sounds
Yes,
good.
correct. But
What weapon you have out? Do you have your silvered Ecola or?
Mhm.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay, then we move to Sakura.
So Sparrow's going to wait to go down, or
Well, the lift
there.
needs to have all 4 people to go down that way. I won't,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. So we're gonna wait for everyone else too, and then Ostor, you're gonna make me fly.
I'll have to wait till we're actually outside the castle to actually cast fly on you, though.
But if we go out the castle, these things are gonna attack us.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that I can't do magic in here.
Oh,
Never mind, I forgot too.
oh
We
my
can't do magic in here.
god.
Wait. Oh.
Uh, well, if everyone else wants to get on the thing, I can stay up here and go down next, I guess.
Okay, so just so you guys know, to go down, you just have to order as a free action. You need to talk to the golems, and you just need to tell them first floor, and they'll immediately start
Yes.
pulling. They'll immediately start pulling and activate the lift to bring you down to whatever floor you ask. Okay.
So if everyone else wants to, if 4 people want to get on this, I'll stay up here and then go down after everyone. If that's
So
what we
you
want
stay
to
up here?
do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
so
the
you
one
just wanna
level
stay
though,
there?
right?
No, there's 4 levels. So
Yeah,
where
so
you guys
third
wanna go?
third
You-
level.
You guys want to go down to the 3rd level? Okay.
Are there also windows
third-
there, or is this just going to be the same situation?
So the 3rd level is not ideal because there is a part of the wall that's broken, and there's a way for them to enter through there. Here I can do is show you. If I go to the top here, can I show you guys this picture?
I think if I remember correctly, this top floor is the most safe floor. This is where we slept that one time.
Yeah, the bottom floor is pretty safe too, because there's only that door. But the problem is, yeah, I'm going to show you. If you guys go to your player handouts, location handouts, and you find the tower on Lake Baratag, I'm going to show it to you. So you guys see there's a hole on the left there?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Oh,
on the,
yeah.
that's the third floor.
What about the
right?
second
Never
floor?
mind then. Let's stay up here.
Yeah,
second-
yeah.
The second floor is pretty good, and the first floor is also good. But yeah, the third floor is a problem. The first floor will give them access to the second floor, and because there's also a hole in the floor,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, so the third floor will give them access to the second floor. If somehow you can get to the first floor and have the lift block the hole into the first floor, you just have the door to worry about. And the 4th floor, well, it's pretty good, but you got 4 windows that they can pass through, so that's the one problem. And also, remember, as long as you're within the tower, or within 10 feet of it, you cannot use magic. So, or use magical items.
yeah.
So you have to remember that. And so, if you want to use magic, you're gonna have to get out of the tower. There's no way around that.
Oh, shit.
So you have access to your magic outside, but you also be facing 3 flying demons. So,
What about my talons?
same thing?
Because they're attached to me.
Yeah, so no, the magic doesn't work. So right now your chi, like for example, your ability to hit magical creatures, to do damage to magical creatures, right, is currently nullified within the tower. So you
Even
have to
with-
get out of the tower.
Technically, it's
Yeah,
key, not magic.
Yeah, no, but it allows you to. It counts. If you look at the description of your key and few strikes, it say they are considered magic for the purpose of. So yeah, anti-magic would work. So and
Interesting.
And
So now
what are these? What are these creatures? Do I know what these things are?
Yeah, you guys can either roll an Arcana check. I know an Arcana check. Yeah, to discover what they are. To see if you know what they are. Ooh, shit.
Oh, damn.
Arcana.
Can we all roll this right now?
You can. I was gonna have you roll it on your turn, but yes, anybody can. Anybody that has a 15 knows what these things are.
Her magic wielder knows
their-
nothing. I'm
it's-
kidding.
What's their
Oh
CR?
man. I see.
Okay, no,
I
they-
see.
okay. Anybody who rolls a 16 knows what these things are, minimum. We have 16s, we have an 18, we've got a 22. So basically Sakura and Talia know what these things are. So these creatures are known as Vroks. They're demons. They're spawned in the layers of the abyss. They're like all demons. They embody chaos and evil. And what else?
Do they require magic to get killed?
Yeah, a second here. So rocks are technically known as more dull-witted type of demons. They're capricious fiends that live only to create pain and carnage. They resemble a giant hybrid of a humanoid and a vulture. They have gnarled, bestial bodies with broad wings, and they stink of offal. Rocks love to gobble humanoid flesh whenever they can. They have a potent stunning ability, and they use their stunning ability to stun prey. And they do so through a shrieking, ear-splitting shriek. And then once they've stunned their targets with their shriek, that's when they sweep down and they attack with their beaks and claws. And if they shake their wings, they can release a cloud of toxic spores. So that's that. In terms of their resistances, who's rolled at least 20? Talia. Okay, so Talia would know about the following information. They have magic resistance, meaning that even if you were to cast magic on them, anytime they have a saving throw to roll, they have advantage on their saving throws. And they are resistant to cold, fire, lightning, as well as bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks, which is anything in this tower. Anything you have if you're in this tower. They're also immune to poison.
Oh, that's
They cannot be
great.
poisoned,
Oh, that's wonderful.
and
Ooh.
yeah, they can be poisoned. They're immune to poison damage, and they have dark vision, and they can even communicate telepathically.
We can't do
Well
shit.
then.
I,
Literally cannot do shit.
I
Oh
look
my
over
God.
at Talia and I see her sweating profusely.
And so the only reason these creatures would be here is if they were summoned. There's no other way. These creatures are not denizens of Barovia. They're denizens of the Abyss, which is another
Fuck.
plane of existence. So they were summoned by a powerful mage here into this realm. I wonder who. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What are we doing?
I would like to ready a dodge, I guess, in case they like try to like attack me or spit at me or I don't know. And then I'm gonna turn to Rudolph and be like, "You got any ideas, man?"
Okay, well, that's convenient. So you're dodging. Okay, it's convenient. It's Rudolph's turn. So Rudolph says, I would have a spell that could protect us, but the problem is we would have to stay here, and that's not ideal. We need to,
Like forever, or
well, for as long as the spell can hold, it would have to remain here and be protected, but that's not really going to help us right now. We're prisoned. We're sitting ducks in this tower. We need to leave. We need to escape. Strahd knows where I am. I need to flee this place. I can't return to this tower. I don't think we have much of a choice but to fight these creatures, unfortunately. We need to somehow defeat them.
how can we fight them if we can't like leave and fight?
He said,
Why
"If you
don't we
can give me
defeat them
enough
here
time-
and then leave?
How
If
can
you
we
give me
defeat
enough-
them with?
Well, he says, if you give me enough time, I could disable the anti-magic field that emanates from this tower. I've never done it before, I've never tried, but I think I could. But I would need time.
How much time?
I don't know.
Did we sleep?
Yes, you did. You guys are full. You guys should all be well. You guys should have all your resources. Well, I wouldn't send you this type of battle if you guys weren't full, believe me.
Did
Yeah,
Talia
we haven't
let
done
us
anything since we
know
left
that?
Blockade.
Did Talia let us know that like not even or like they're even resistant to magic
You know
and
this
all
knowledge too,
that?
right? Or did Discord crash
No.
on me and I missed something?
No, the,
Oh, you're the only one that knows that they're like resistant to. They have
Yes.
magic resistance and
Okay.
their damage resistance. You're the only one that knows that.
mhm. Well, she can relay that information on her turn if she wants. And
These things have too many resistances.
yeah. Well, demons have a lot of resistances. Yeah. Okay, so Rudolph says, yeah, if you could give me time, I can potentially turn off the the anti-magic field of this tower.
Yeah,
Um,
because half of us can't even fight without magic. And then I chuckle a little bit. Not me, but half of these guys. They
Right.
can't do
So
shit.
he says, I will do what I can. I would say the tower does limit their offensive abilities, but at the same time, it will limit yours. So I'll let you decide which is the better ground for battle. But regardless of what happens, if I die, you need to seek the Tome of Strahd. Those
The
memoirs I
Tome
was
of
telling you
Strahd.
about, I had them in my possessions, but Strahd's forces were able to reclaim them. I do not know where the tome is, but I
Oh,
don't think
boy.
Strahd would have brought it back to Ravenloft. It may be there, but I don't think it would be there. It wouldn't make sense for him to bring it back there where I stole it. So, but you need to find it. Try if you can find it, because there are still things I wasn't able to tell you about Strahd, and they're in that book. And he says this is if he doesn't survive. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So with that being said, he's gonna move here, and he's gonna order the platform to go to the first floor. He says. So when that happens, you guys can. Oh, where's that thing?
Does he know anything about these things?
About what things? Oh, these creatures?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He does not know much about demons or devils. It's not his cup of tea at all.
Okay.
All right. So the platform gets lowered by the golems. You guys can hear the golems down below, pulling on the elevator pulley and bringing down the platform slowly. All right. So that's going to be me. I can't cast spells or Rudolph, unfortunately. I'll draw my sword from my cane. He's got like a cane blade, you know, those canes where you can just draw and there's a sword hidden in it. Yeah, that's all he's gonna do. So then we go to Sakura's there twice. Why is she there twice? She's not supposed to be there twice.
I only see one of her.
Yeah, I only
saw
see
two.
one of me too.
Okay, now we're at Nigel and then the rocks. Okay, Nigel. By the way, Nigel is no longer invisible. Well, number 4 is no longer invisible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. How is number 4 reacting to this?
Oh yeah, brethren.
Well, number 4 says that this is a very peculiar situation, Master. These demons don't like my kind or yours. You're a half devil, after all, right? Yeah, he says, You don't
I
have
get what
much
you're saying,
choice.
number 4. We should show them who the top demons are, right? We should go kick their ass, right? And we're talking telepathically, by the way.
That doesn't work. He can't talk telepathically.
No! Then we're whispering to each other.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, he's saying. She says. I mean, neither you or I can use any of our abilities here. We need to get out of the tower, or at least hold out until the old guy removes the anti-magic field. I'll follow your lead.
Alright, number 4 is just gonna stick on Osthor's shoulder.
Okay. All right, then go to the rocks. All right. This rock is gonna fly here. He's gonna. So that's was 3, 4, 5. Oh, I don't have enough movement. Do I? One sec.
I went to the wrong window.
Yep, I can make it. Okay.
Hello.
Past the check and squeezed in.
Yeah, it took a lot of movement to get there, though. So the rock flies to the westernmost window, and you can see it squeeze, it breaks the glass, it passes through the window, and it squeezes as much as it can. The shards of glass, broken shards of glass, do very little to harm this creature, and it just, through brute strength, forces the hinges of the window, and it succeeds in squeezing its way into the tower. And moves inside, and who am I going to attack?
Rudolph's not there, right?
No, he's down. Yeah, I can actually remove him. He's not down to the first floor yet, but he's on his way. Okay. I'm going to... how intelligent are these things? Okay. Alright. So... I'm gonna use... I'm gonna use this. Okay. So the rock extends his wings and then makes them reverberate, and from him a cloud of toxic spores fills the air within the tower. And you do your best to try to avoid breathing it in. So everyone, that's 15 feet, so that's gonna be...
Everyone.
Pretty much
Everyone.
Yep, that is everyone. I just want to see here. Yeah, that's pretty much everyone. Yep. Roll me a... What is it? A Constitution saving throw, please.
Am I
Constitution.
I always forget if I'm what my poison resistance means. Does that apply in this situation?
Oh shit, Osthor, okay.
If you're resistant to poison, you take less. You take half damage from poison damage.
Okay,
but it will
but is
depend.
this kind of poison, or is it a different type of poison?
Let me see your sheet.
That's the wrong sheet.
Because I know that, poison is...
You have damage to the. You have resistance to the damage, not the condition. So you can still be poisoned, but you take half
Okay.
from poison damage.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The damage is stuff.
So,
Okay. And it was
yeah.
a Constitution saving throw?
Correct.
I'm gonna. I think I want to use the inspiration here. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna roll
Oh,
an inspiration
shit.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Inspiration. That's Ezio. What?
I know,
It's
but you're
slightly
rolling
better.
for him.
Still over 10, hopefully.
Oh,
A little better.
Shit.
You hate to see it.
Not much better, but better.
I better roll hella good damage rolls tonight.
Okay, so let's have a look here. We have Steve rolled a 22, so you're fine. Talia rolled a 9, but she re-rolled. And she got
11.
an 11. Okay. You've got Sakras rolled a 20. Okay. Ezio rolled a 5-ish. Then you rolled a 7. Okay. So unfortunately, and Sparrow rolled a what?
13.
13? Okay. So Sparrow, Talia, Ezio. That's it, yeah. Sparrow, Talia, and Ezio. You guys are all poisoned.
Oh fuck.
No.
Yay.
And you take /R 1d10.
Oh. Nope, that's not.
And you all
poison?
take
No, this is
you,
poison.
you all take 4 points of poison damage.
Right, that the
You all
symbol
have
of
a
poison.
What's the symbol of poison? Let's have a look here. I'll put it on Talia for fun. I think this is poison. I'll put this as poison.
Oh.
Or no, this.
Oh.
Yeah, the
okay.
the skull symbol, I guess. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, put that symbol on your characters. That skull symbol if you're poisoned. And yeah, Ezio's poisoned as well. So there we go. And
Do I
who else
dare
do
to
we-
play devil's advocate right now?
Do it.
What does that mean?
I don't think you'd like it if I did.
No, go ahead.
What
What's
does that mean?
What about this little fucker?
You mean Rufus? Yeah, Rufus has to
What
do a
about
saving throw as well.
Rufus?
Yeah.
Oh.
Rufus needs to do a saving throw as well.
Can we say that Rudolph took him?
Damn.
Nope. No.
You just,
Unfortunately,
you know what? Fuck that dog.
Llama. Benjamin.
I'll take my inspiration to give him to Rudolph.
Why don't you bring the evil upon us, Ricky Bobby?
Do you know what tonight needed more of? Dog assassination.
Wow.
Well, he's got a chance to survive. Okay, roll a Constitution saving throw for Rufus. Yes.
You won't take my inspiration
I
just so
swear to
he can
God,
go with
Llama.
Rudolph?
No.
If Rufus dies because of you, Llama, I'm coming for your wig.
Wait, what do I click?
Well, click on the sheet and you should have.
Hey man, I'm just following the rules.
I will follow those rules right into hell with you.
Rufus. Let's have a look here. There he is.
Con?
You better hope
There's no
you don't
saving
encounter
throw.
any friendly fire and
Yeah, it's just
during this
con.
battle. I might swing my
Oh,
axe a little
sorry.
too close to your pretty little head.
I'll take the
Reroll,
19 though.
Just reroll.
Uh,
Oh.
You can use inspiration
Yeah.
if you want. You can use your inspiration for it if you want.
I don't think it's any better.
Well, that's gonna fail. So he takes 4 poison damage, unfortunately.
Which killed
Oh
him,
yeah.
right?
Well, how much HP?
Oh
does he have?
yeah.
He doesn't have much.
Well,
Oh
I think he
yeah.
had like 1 or 2. I don't know.
well, let's see. He's got.
I'm buying a
he's
flight
got-
to Buffalo right now. Like,
This is the
Oh,
greatest
yeah.
moment ever.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Talia in one move
okay.
kills the campaign dog.
He's got 8 hit
Selfless.
points. So
I'm
here's
just
the
gonna say,
problem,
this is our
Yeah, he's got
losing
8.
Aerith moment,
Oh.
guys.
Mm,
This is our forgotten capital.
ugh, probably gonna play.
But here-
Probably
here's
first
the
thing
thing, though.
tomorrow.
So he's bloodied. But here's the thing, though. He's
Monday.
poisoned, and so every the start of each of his turn, he takes a 1d10 poison damage. So you're gonna have to do something about the poison for the doggo soon, otherwise he might die next round. Okay.
What kind
Is,
of poison is it?
It's well, I can't. No, it's just poison. I'm not sure if there's.
Oof.
Yeah, it doesn't
Do
specify.
we even
any-
have any potions for that?
Oh, but wait. Who rolled a high on Talia? Okay.
22.
So Talia, yeah, you rolled 22. I'll give it to you. So you know something about Vrox specifically Their poison can be counter-affected by any antidote, but also holy water. If you empty a vial of holy water on a target that's poisoned by the spores, that eliminates the effects of the spores.
Oh, good. I got them.
Okay. So if you relay this information to Sparrow, you could save the little dog's life. Okay.
Me,
So
me casually almost killing the dog.
Oh my god.
You are so lucky. Paul's a great DM.
okay.
The earliest I could be
so-
there is 3 in the afternoon, so you got time to fix this, Talia, or else cracks knuckles.
Okay, well, I'm not done. I got more rocks. Okay, so this rock is gonna try to squeeze its arm through the window here. So from that small window here next to you, Sparrow, you've got this huge muscular claw that tries to reach at you.
Can I attack
so
it?
You certainly can. You had your ready action ready to go.
Okay. I was trying to decide if I wanted to wait until it actually tried to come in, but then you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's
I would
do
say
it.
this counts as your trigger. Yeah, can count as your trigger.
Would I have advantage because I have cover?
No, but you have higher AC though. Your AC is 2 higher.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
So instead of 18 AC, you have 20 now.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
what it means.
But okay, no advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll a 15 to hit.
15 hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also harder to hit. So no, you're gonna miss it, unfortunately.
It's harder to hit. Its arm is like out in my face.
Yeah, but I mean, technically it also has cover because most of its body, you can only hit its arm. You can't hit anything else on its body, right? Because it's
Did I
covered.
cut its
It's
arm?
on the outside. No, you did not. You missed it,
Aw.
unfortunately. But I may miss you too because you have really high AC. So I'm gonna try and attack with my talons now. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, I miss you. You're good. So you both try to attack each other. You caught by surprise. You didn't expect the talons to burst through the window next to you. It did, and you try to stab in retaliation, but you were caught off guard and couldn't get a clean hit. But then again, the rock tried to reach out to you, and you dodged in time to avoid its talons. Then I can attack with my beak. I'm gonna try to do that. So he's gonna try to poke his head in and try to beak at you. Let's see if I can hit you. Again, you have cover against this, and I miss again. It's close. But this time his head peeks into the tower, and his huge beak just barely misses you. He actually rips a bit of your clothing, but you're fine. Maybe I was able to pull up one feather or two. And that's it for the rock. And the other rock, can it attack? Oh, it can attack Sakura. So this one's gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna try to attack from through these windows here.
Since I already dodged, does that change it any?
Yeah. No, so basically now that you're dodging, he's got disadvantage to attack you. So I have to roll with disadvantage on each of my attack rolls. That's what it means. So disadvantage. He's gonna try to beak you.
Go beat yourself.
Let's see here. Ooh. Yeah, +2 to your armor class, which means what? Yeah, 19. I miss you.
19.
So the beak misses. And then he tries to claw you. Let's see. Yeah, same thing. Same total. Yeah, I miss you again. Yep. Yeah, it's really hard for him to circumvent the small size of the window and try to get a clean attack on you, so you avoid those 2 attacks, no problem. So that's it for my... So the rock just spews one last word in common and says, this is your last warning. Give us Van Richten, stand aside or die. And that's it for my rocks. Then we move to Talia.
I will let the party know. If you have antidotes or holy water, use them. They'll cure the poison.
Plus, I guess you relay all the other information you know about rocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, relay all that too. Assuming I even remembered everything you said, because there's a lot of shit there.
Okay, so basically,
gosh.
the two things, other than beaking and scratching, they've got two attacks that are annoying. They have a stunning shriek, and they have those spores from their wings that they can use. And otherwise, in terms of resistance, they're resistant to most elements: fire, lightning, cold, and they are also resistant to physical attacks that are not magical. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, that's not magical. And they have magic
How do they feel
resistance.
about silvered weapons?
Silver weapons has no impact, no effect on
Okay.
no particular effect on demons. No. So that's that.
Okay.
You can always ask for this information again next week, for example, when we will continue this. So don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, I relayed all the information. I have the feeling I'm just gonna end up getting poisoned again, so I'm not gonna heal it off right away. Instead,
Okay.
assuming I can go to this square and get flanking.
You can.
Yeah, so technically, the poison damage you guys would have taken would have been at the start of your turn. That's kind of important. So, so technically, Rufus, anybody who took poison damage didn't take it now. They would take it at the beginning of their turn. So I'm sorry about that. You are
Oh.
poisoned, yes, but the poison damage kicks in at the start of your turn.
So not yet.
So not
Okay.
yet, technically.
Okay, so you already rolled that, so it would take effect from me now.
Yes, right. You would have
Okay.
taken it now, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just do this. I get flanking with Osthor here. So,
Okay. You
yeah,
can maneuver there without
because
provoking.
Mr. Van Richten's stupid fucking anti-magic field.
Mm-hmm.
I can't booming blade this fucking rapier.
Since Rufus doesn't have a turn, does that mean he technically doesn't get the damage?
No,
I
he
agree with
plays
that.
on the same initiative. He plays on the same initiative turn as Sparrow.
Advantage.
Oh,
After me, right?
loophole.
Whatever. You can make him play before or after. I won't be picky.
Okay.
Oh,
21
nice.
to hit.
Oh, you're flanking. I was like, why is he ahead? I just felt flank. Flanking is not a thing in Baldur's Gate 3. That's why I'm confused. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That would hit definitely.
Oh, thank God.
Let's get
Oh,
knocked down
nice.
for resistance. But
Yeah,
Good.
but, you know,
23
better than
divided by
0.
2. Okay, so minus 9. Okay. Yep. Alright, so you maneuver behind him while he's distracted by Alstor's presence next to him. And you're able to stick your rapier into its flank, although the rapier doesn't go as deep as you'd hope. You have your sword has resistance in going into its flesh, as if some unknown force is pushing the sword out or attempting to push it out as you try to push in. So that's that. Anything else from you?
Nah, I'll just end it here.
Okay. Alright, so we're gonna go to Ezio, then Astor, and then we'll probably end for the night and we'll continue the fight next game. If you guys are okay with that.
So, what's the position of the elevator lift?
So right now, every round, it goes down 1 floor. So right at the end of this initiative turn, it will be down to the 3rd floor. And the following initiative turn, it will be down to the 2nd. So you'll have to hold up a few rounds.
So, can Ezio get in on the first round?
He can. He'll have just to jump down. It's 10 foot between each floor, so he's gonna have to probably do an acrobatics check to not fall prone, and you'll take minimal damage from the fall. But yeah, there's a bit of damage involved. Plus, you probably provoke an attack of opportunity from the rock as he falls down.
What if he used his action to disengage?
Then that's fine. He won't provoke.
Okay. Yeah, I think Ezio will. Well, you said Talia's rapier didn't do much, right? It couldn't pierce very well.
No, it didn't hurt. It didn't go as deep as he would have wanted to.
Okay.
They're resistant, so it has to come basically.
How to
Better than
turn
no damage.
how to turn the D&D group against you. Bring up the dog.
Yeah. Bring up hurting the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You're like the
this is-
student at the end of class. It's like, oh, didn't we have homework that you're gonna give us, teacher?
Okay. Okay. I think Ezio's gonna swing with his great sword. He gets 2 attacks with that, right?
Yes. Also, just so you know, once you're able to cast spells, you can replace one of those attacks with a
Yeah.
cantrip. Yeah.
Got it.
And just remember, you reroll on your damage with your greatsword. You reroll 1s and 2 on damage rolls.
Got it. Alright. So 1 greatsword attack. Oh,
Yeah, first roll the attack roll first. See if you hit.
that was the attack roll? I think.
That,
No, you just roll
that's just
damage.
No.
damage.
Oh,
damage.
okay.
There you go.
Okay.
That's gonna hit.
Alright.
I'll take the
11's
first. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll take it. It's fine. 11 doesn't change. Doesn't change. It's
I
the
think
same thing.
the 1 extra now just
Well,
get
yeah.
halved.
Yeah, exactly. There's no 0.5 damage. So, okay, so yeah, takes 5 from the first swing. Did you roll 1s or 2s though? You rolled a 1. So reroll.
Okay.
Reroll
1d6.
Just reroll a 1d6. Okay, you have to take the 2. So it's 1 damage more, so it's actually 12. So yeah, it's 1 damage more.
6 damage.
There you go. Hey. And you can roll your attack again for your second attack.
Alright. Did it correct this
That's-
time.
All good. That's gonna hit. And you
Woohoo!
rolled 4 and 4. Okay, perfect. So that's gonna be a nice little 13. So minus 6. Boom. Good job. Okay. So you reach for your greatsword. With it in hand, you do 2 massive swings and strike at the thigh of the creature. It stumbles backwards, but your sword kind of like you basically just barely hacks through the thigh. And the creature grabs it with its talon and pulls it away and stares at you. You are going to be next, my friend. And is there anything else from Ezio?
No, I think that'll be it.
Okay. So as the creature stares at Ezio defiantly, then we move to Astor.
Alright. I'm gonna use my bonus action to have Nigel attack this thing.
Number 4? Okay, I'm sure.
Yeah, number 4.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright. Advantage due to flanking.
Yes. Correct. Ooh, 17.
Yes.
That is gonna hit. That will hit.
7 piercing,
Yeah,
12
so
poison, but I think they're immune.
yeah, it's immune to poison. So it'll take 3 piercing damage.
Alright.
Hey, it's better than nothing.
Now, still holding on to Osthor. Osthor with Nigel attached is going to try to make it to the lower floor.
Okay. So you will provoke an attack of opportunity. roll.
Can Osthor disengage?
Well, do you have an action left?
I used a bonus action for number 4 to attack.
So you have an action left. Okay, yeah, you could disengage it.
All right.
But here's the thing, though.
Uh-oh.
Number 4.
Does number 4 disengage? No. Okay, so I'm gonna swing at that little pesky imp. Here goes. Let's do a claw talon attack. Attack with normal. Okay. 23 to hit, 16 slashing damage.
Oh,
I can use my reaction to give it resistance to the type of damage it is receiving.
Okay. So then that will fall to 8 damage.
Alright.
Good call.
And I should have temporary hit points due to inspiring leader.
Yeah. Did you target her with?
I
Burn
should be
again?
able to target everyone with the new level, I believe.
Okay, then.
yeah, didn't you do
I'll
that
put-
last turn?
Yeah, he did it this morning, last game. So what? How much temporary
Yeah.
point did everybody get?
10
10.
it was. It was 10.
Okay. So then it has 2 temp hit points left. Okay. So yeah, there you go. I added 2 temp hit points. There should be a red bar.
Got it. Yep.
And yeah, there you go. That's the temp hit points. Okie dokie. Yeah, I hope everybody's got their temp hit points. Yeah. Good. Good, yeah. Those help, man. Those help. Okay. Excellent. So you succeed in leaping downwards, although the rock strikes at number 4. Number 4 stumbles back, but lands on your shoulder, and then
Okay.
gets
And-
back up.
I should have to make an acrobatics. I know I'm shooting myself in the foot, but I do have to make an acrobatics, right?
You do.
Oh, come on, Osthor. You
I mean,
got this.
athletics is your bad side. Oh my.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
Jesus Christ.
That one.
Yo, solid bounce from that one.
It was fucking teetering. Jesus Christ.
Okay. So you don't fall prone. You succeeded. DC is 10 actually, so you're fine. So you land on the platform, although you do fall 10 feet, so you do take 1d6 bludgeoning damage.
Oh boy.
Take 2 bludgeoning damage, but you are not prone. You are still standing. Okay?
Your
Okay.
knees hurt, that's it.
That's it.
Superhero landing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Superhero landing.
Uh,
From a warlock, no less. Alright. So next game, next session, we'll continue where we left off. We'll be on the second round. And we'll start with Sparrow.
okay, I'm gonna write down
So-
what I intend to do. I won't forget next week.
Damn, this was a really good session.
You liked it? Okay, good.
Yeah, that lore dump was good. I think it's because we've been in this so much that it actually felt like a payoff, instead of just, okay, when do I get to fight stuff? It's like, I don't know, it felt like the juicy bits that I've been waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was to probably shed some light on a lot of things that maybe weren't clear. So I hope it did. I hope the story made sense, and like the information on Strahd makes sense. And
That's fucked up. He
Yeah,
killed
it
his
was-
fucking brother, and then the woman he was obsessed with dies right after.
yeah,
It's karma, I guess, but
Oh, wait,
damn.
something I did forget to bring up. Did Rudolph mention if Strahd drank Sergei's blood? I remember that was
I
part of
think
the
he
vision
did,
too.
yeah.
He did.
he did.
did?
He did. It was
did.
part
Okay.
of. It was part of the pact. Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
And so
Mhm.
Strahd is controlling the mist, and why does is he afraid that if he gets rid of the mist, then he won't be able to know when like Tatiana's soul has been reincarnated or whatever?
No, it's just he can control the mist, mm, but he can't escape his own realm. He can't escape Barovia. He can't leave. He's of all the people that he can't. And like if he recedes the mist, people can leave Barovia. He can't. He has to stay in Barovia. It's part of his curse. He's stuck here. He cannot leave.
Ah, the
So,
curse of Strahd.
but to your point, it is possible. It is possible that, well, the curse of Strahd means multiple things, right? It alludes to, yes, the fact he can't leave Barovia. It alludes to the curse that he has towards Tatiana. Um, yeah, like Strahd's curse is like multifaceted, right? He desires a woman that basically he'll never be able to get. He's tried to have this woman multiple times. I haven't. I mean, Van Richten didn't have the time to talk about how Strahd approached the different in previous incarnations of Tatiana, because there's been multiple incarnations of Tatiana in the past before Irina, and every time he attempted to get close to one of them, they died. So it's a shame we weren't able to talk about that, but I had to leave some suspense for later. But it's pretty harrowing. It's pretty traumatic. Like it sucks. Like the guy does everything he can to finally get this woman. Like, especially like he was so excited with the previous with the later reincarnations because Sergei wasn't around anymore, right? He figured Sergei is not in my way anymore. I can woo this woman from the get go. And if you read the novel I Strahd, he gets close a couple of times to wooing these women. He actually does succeed in wooing some of the incarnations, but regardless of how much he tries, they all end up dying. So that's also part of his curse. He's in love with this woman that he can never have, but always desires, and he can't leave this realm. He's stuck here, and despite all the power he has, he still longs and still is jealous of his brother. And the other part of his curse is that despite all the things he sacrificed and all the hard work he's done, he basically wasted all away and he ruined basically his family's legacy. And to this day, remains true. And so, yeah, that's unfortunately that's kind of like the multifaceted aspects of his curse. So that's what they mean by the curse of Strahd. It's all these things, right? Um, and
I'm in danger.
there's also another thing about his curse that I can't reveal. That's a huge spoiler. That's really interesting. That's cool. But you guys will probably see what it is at the end of the game. Um,
Oh
but
boy.
it
Mm.
sucks. It really sucks. Like Strahd's not a good guy, but you can feel for the guy. Like his situation sucks. Right? So it's what makes him, I guess, a good villain because you can not only sympathize, but you can understand where he's coming from, and he's not a perfect villain, right? He's flawed. It's
Mm-hmm.
what makes him endearing in a way, if you will,
Mm.
and also fun to play, right? Other than the fact that he's also not this omnipotent presence that you just see at the end, right? He's always there. That's one of the best things about this villain. He's there. He's plotting. He's always pulling strings, and he can sometimes be an ally. Sometimes he can be a foe. Most of the time, is a foe. And yeah, it just makes for a great villain to play, right? So, and there's not a lot of villains like this in D&D because D&D tends to have these like super powerful evil gods that just you don't see until epic level, right? Strahd is actually a much more mid-level boss type of thing. So yeah, this is why it's a good adventure also because there's a good villain. Good stories need good villains, and this is a perfect example. So
Mm.
yeah. Mm,
How
yeah.
am I going to
So
explain all this reincarnation shit to Irina?
I know,
yeah,
right?
it's fucked up. It is fucked up.
Oh, oh, it's magic. You
You know.
know.
Easy explanation. But I mean, I hope the story kind of is intriguing, like the how the mist kind of has a deep impact on not just people's lives but their death as well, right? That's the whole point of Barovia. It's just supposed to be depressing in every turn. Like even in death, you can't escape this realm. That's the tragic thing about Ravenloft, right? You die, you hope you can just live in peace. No, die and just be in peace, and you just can't. You're forced back into this realm to suffer anew every life, right? You die, you suffer, and it's just an endless cycle of torment. That's what Barovia is. So it's fun, yeah. It's supposed to be, yeah. So
That's where
that's
you
what it is.
should really
Everybody
feel
suffers.
bad for the orphans, because like they already at the bottom and they're even like lower. It's just
Yeah, exactly. But here I have a question for you, though, and this is a very interesting question. It could come to anybody who's basically heard about like the nature of the souls in Barovia. So if Barovia's people, like everybody that lives in Barovia, is just basically a reincarnation of a previous life, right? Well, what happens when more life comes into the world, but there's not enough souls for those extra lives, right? So, for
Oh
example,
damn.
say you have 10 people at a time that were in Barovia, but then as they get reincarnated, they had children of their own, and there's not enough deaths to cover for the new lives that come into the world, right? Because one generation could have, I don't know, 3 children, another generation might have none, but eventually comes a point where there could feasibly be more lives than there are souls available. So then what happens is a really interesting question. And there's a bit of thought, right?
It seems like there's more souls than there are lives in Barovia. If
You
anything,
think? Maybe that's the case, but what if it's the opposite? What if there are actually more lives than souls? What does that mean? How does that work?
they could be
Just
brain
putting
dead.
that out.
I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows, right? So that just putting that out there, it's another thing that's interesting. That's a that's possible. So that's nothing to think about, right?
What if
And
they
and
just
yeah,
become an undead?
They'll
maybe
be
are they born
stillborn.
undead? Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Maybe there are children. Is there a history of children that are born that are stillborn, right? Who knows? That's maybe something, right? But again, it's going to be something tragic, obviously. But what is it? It's bears some, yeah, it deserves some thought. It's interesting.
Maybe
So,
this is how vampires are made naturally.
maybe, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's what makes Ravenloft an intriguing campaign setting for all those dreadful reasons, right?
Mm.
So, yeah. So again, I hope you guys liked the dump. You seem to have, and I hope it kind of shed light on some maybe lingering questions you guys might have had, and the rest.
Raised a lot
I
more
was right.
questions
That's all I know.
too. Like, is Talia's the reincarnation of Sergei? And if so, I think Strahd needs to I don't know, talk
Well,
to Jesus about that.
And that's why he's a
technically,
vampire.
technically, we don't know what happened that night.
No, well, yeah,
He just
yeah.
examined your body, saying that, oh, my brother's not a brother anymore.
And
My goodness, my
probably bit me and magically wiped my memory. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, maybe that's something you guys can discuss further with Van Richten if you guys get out of this live. Maybe that's
If
something
he
you want to ask.
survives.
If
I
you
know,
survive,
right?
right? If not, maybe you'll have further answers in the Tome of Strahd if you could find it. Just remember about those items that you were foretold to find.
right. It's going to be in
One of them
the
is
cemetery or the temple.
yeah, one of them is a book. One of them is a book.
Oh,
So hint hint. Yeah, hint hint. There's a book you guys are supposed to find. Well,
sounds
Mhm.
like it's the tome.
yeah, it could be the tome.
Yeah,
The
well, I
tome.
mean, we were told
Yeah.
we need to find the tome, yeah.
Well, you don't have to find it. You don't have to find any of the items. Because so far, the only items you guys have found that we were foretold to find is the Sunblade, which unfortunately doesn't work yet fully.
Sort of.
But yeah, there's two other items you guys have yet to find. So yeah, just think about it. One that's hidden behind the symbol of the sun, and the other one is within a castle and a temple made of amber. So just remember those.
Hmm.
Yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna just tell you guys good night, and it was fun, and we will continue next Saturday.
Good
Sounds
night.
good.
Cool.
Good night.
All right.
Okay, good
Bye-bye, guys.
night.
Okay, bye. Alrighty, now I'm all alone, but I do have somebody we can raid and say hi to. I haven't seen her live in quite some time, so this is a great opportunity. And it looks like she's in the middle of a raid? No, not a Twitch raid, but a game raid. Anyway, let's go say hi to T. Yeah, no? Because why not? I'm gonna redo these. Okay. This week I will be on a day shift kind of shift. I'm technically going to a technical school for 2 weeks. So Monday I'll be able to stream my regular schedule. Hooray! Anyway, I don't know if anybody's still here, but if you are, or if you're tuning in on the VOD, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed listening to the chaos that we've created in this game. But anyway, so yeah, hope to see you on Monday. Have a great night, everyone. Sweet dreams, sleep tight, sleep dreams. And if you're on the other side of the world, have a fantastic rest of your day. And I will